Muskegon Channel. It's Andy O'Reilly, and I am back out in Egelston Township today. It's Egelston Grows Green. As the vote gets here Tuesday, they are looking for the zoning. Jack Page is back. We're going to let Jack do the talk. Nice to see you again, Jack.
Well, how you been, Andy?
Same old schmuck I've always been.
Okay. Well, we're getting closer to vote.
Yeah, we are. And one of the things I wanted to do, because we just did this with the 911 people too. When these tough things come up, there's so much information that comes out from both sides that the smear starts and different things get going on. And I wanted to give you guys the opportunity to restate your case, to talk a little bit about what's going on with what you're trying to accomplish out here with this dispensary and with the grow operation and everything else. So tell me who you brought along first and foremost to help us out, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of the story.
Over here, I've got our. This is Adam. How you doing, Adam?
Adam, thank you for coming.
Good.
Thanks.
Thanks
for having me.
Adam is more the professional on the grow side.
Okay.
As far as strains, as far as security, as far as the environmental impacts that the systems might have and everything.
Okay.
And then Hal is like on our compliance side. Hal takes care of the state, the local, any types of compliance that we need to meet any guidelines or anything like that.
He's the attorney.
He jumps the legal stuff for us.
Yeah, we know that. The tie sets him apart.
That's right.
All right, good. So, where are we in the whole process of everything going?
Well, when we had you out last time, we were just getting ready for our informational meeting.
Yep.
And that went over great. We had a couple hundred people show up and come out and ask questions and everything. But since that, we've gotten out and we found out that there's some information out there that's still flying. That's not necessarily what we're looking to do or anything.
Sure.
We've got a zoning issue here in Egelston. It's coming up to a vote on Tuesday.
Yep.
And we're just looking to make sure that proper information is supplied out.
Very good.
To the people.
Adam, let's start with you down there on the end. For somebody that knows how to grow, knows a little bit about agriculture and all that other kind of stuff, talk about what is going to be grown out here if this comes through and what you guys plan on.
I happen to know that the business plan is to grow medical marijuana.
Okay.
And we have two main drugs that are considered medicinal from the cannabis plant. One is THC and one is CBD.
Okay.
The CBD that we're hoping to grow is derived from a hemp-based plant, which would be under 0.3% psychoactive properties. And that's 50% of our business plan, is to literally process CBD down to capsules into different forms for use of medicine.
Okay.
And those are the strains that have very little psychoactive effect, though. They're
50%.
50% of our business plan. So over half the plants that we're going to be growing out here aren't going to be the things that get you high.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
And then from there, there will be some of that. But for the people that benefit from this, there is some benefit to the THC to a degree, if I'm not mistaken.
There is.
Talk a little bit about that.
Medicine as well. We have done some studies on some of this ourselves with being caregivers and whatnot. The THC has been one of the most beneficial medicines to people with insomnia, with problems with prescriptions, with problems with chronic pain. So THC is also a very big, important medicine.
Sure.
And it's part of this cannabis movement. So
Another big factor is it has great promise with helping for withdrawal from opioid addiction.
Sure.
We just had another opioid approved by
saw
the
that this
FDA,
morning. Yeah.
and I shake my head every time I see it. And
Yeah.
I'm hoping that the community allows us to help in those ways. So,
Hal, from a legal standpoint, I mean, you're in this day in and day out, and I know we see from the legal world that we're not seeing the arrests made and this whole demonization of marijuana and all that kind of stuff anymore. But from a legal standpoint, is everything here on the books and up and up? And
I would say yes.
Yeah.
The township spent 6 or 7 months going through the process of evaluating what kind of facilities would be allowed and where they would be allowed. It's already a zoned community, so the township has their own zoning rules out there. What the township board did was designate what zoned area each kind of facility was go in, which made perfect sense. They put a commercial retail store in a commercial zone. They put a processing plant in an industrial zone, and they put an agricultural product based facility in an agricultural zone.
Perfect.
It's to grow. Where else would you put it? And so you put it. The one that they're making the big stink out of appears to be the one on Apple. They put an agricultural building in what is an R5 agricultural zone, and are complaining because they believe it's too close to residential, when you're not going to build a house on Apple Avenue.
It's a 5-lane highway.
Right.
You know, anything anybody that tries to believe that Apple Avenue is a residential zone, you know, it's a major state trunk highway.
Sure. There's
But,
some houses here still, but
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
But the zoning was put in, you would want to grow an agricultural product in an agricultural zone, and that's where they put it.
Sure.
That was all done properly. There is an provision under the Zoning Enabling Act that allows a person, any individual, to come in and say, gee, I want a petition, I don't like your zoning change.
Yeah.
And that's what the petition is about.
Okay.
So, but to be honest, the way it's worded, it would eliminate every facility from every zone in Eggleston Township. So it's hard to believe that they're aiming just at, I don't want it near this house, because they're eliminating or trying to eliminate all medical marijuana out of the township.
Yeah. It's a confusing mess, and I think that what we've known historically here since, you know, the Reefer Madness days, and the way we've been conditioned to feel about this medicine, if you will, is that it's something to be afraid of. And I've said since day one, when all this started coming about and all that, be over 21. Don't drive under the influence. But that stands for anything. That's any prescription, any alcohol, or anything else like that. And if there are some proven health benefits for this for some people, and I think they're out there, and I think it's been proven.
And more are coming every single day now that we're allowed to study.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about some of these that you've got here. You've got a zoning map here that you want to hold up, I understand, and it's going to, you had an example, and I know you can't really see it very well from the camera, but talk about the zoning map.
I've got one here.
Okay.
I'm going to explain a little bit on this one, then I'm going to let Hal get into a little bit more on zoning, because I'm not as fluent in zoning. But there was a mailer sent out by the people who have drawn the petition
And fair
against the
enough.
zoning. Fair
Fair
enough,
enough.
which is your given right to do it. It's from the Vote No on Medical Marijuana zoning amendment. But in the picture, and we see there's a big giant pole barn here, and it says this is a medical marijuana facility, has 3,000 plants in it. Well, there are no medical marijuana facilities that have 3,000 plants in them anywhere yet. None of them are legally able to operate. And this is not a picture of our building. It's not a picture of anything like, we don't even know what this picture is.
Sure.
And they also have another picture of it of a playground, which is nowhere within. It just looks like a
swing
picture,
set in a playground, sure.
swing set in a playground. But we're in an agricultural zone and nowhere near any schools or churches or anything like this.
Sure.
So where this is coming from, we don't know either.
Okay.
Just part of the misinformation we have going out.
Game of politics
We
today.
want to put our story out
That's
there
the game
and
of
let
politics.
you know that from the get-go, we've always said that plants should go in an agricultural zone, commercial should go in a commercial zone, and anything processing or industrial should go in an industrial
There
zone.
you have it. All right, Hal?
And
Which is actually how the township board set it up. They did it properly. They followed the state recommendations. They followed their own recommendations for their master plan. So the zoning issue is something that has been done properly by the township. Our issue with the mailings were two things. It's very, very incomplete and very misrepresenting of what the actual law says. The flyer tries to point out that this is where all of the residential areas are in the township, and that's not accurate. It's not all the R5 either. Maybe it's the printer, but you can't designate on this kind of a card the differences and the variations in the zoning, because they sent this out basically as a fear tactic of you don't want any medical marijuana anywhere near the yellow.
Sure.
Well, that's not accurate at all, and I guess I look at it as the two buildings that are even up are going to be more secure than virtually any other business in Muskegon County other than maybe the prison.
Right.
So they're not causing any risk or any threat to anyone at all. The
Actually,
requirements that are required by the state is
It's adding a security barrier off the Apple Avenue
Correct.
to that neighborhood
Sure.
that's behind there. People need to maybe look at that. Like there's an extra buffer of security, a large buffer of security between that neighborhood and Apple.
So, and it'll have to
And it'll be
fenced.
protecting 50% of plants that are non-psychoactive anyway.
Right. Right.
So,
So, all right. So all this is going on. The vote's coming up Tuesday for all of this here. But then we also got another vote coming up Tuesday that could legalize it for recreational use. Period.
yeah. And that's
Is
really,
that all that for naught afterwards, or is that
Nah.
does that affect this at all?
that's
We're
not
not
really
recommending
our concern.
Okay.
We are strictly looking to breed strains that have medicinal and medical value.
Okay.
That is really what we're looking to do here in Egelston.
Fair
So,
enough.
one of the things on the vote coming up is just trying to give back to the community. We are offering transportation to and from the polls.
Sure.
For anybody that has a medical need to get there, is in a wheelchair or has an accessibility issue or anything like that. They can contact us on Facebook on Egelston Grows Green. Give us an address. We can send a van that's wheelchair equipped and everything. Make sure you can get to the polls.
Yeah.
And that's either way you vote. We just want you to have the accessibility to the polls, and we want to make sure that everybody turns out and gets out and votes.
Absolutely.
Because that's the important part of our system here is to make sure that everybody votes.
Absolutely. Well, it's coming up Tuesday. Any final thoughts?
I'll throw out one thought that, you got a local farmer here. A lot of people don't realize, like, hey, this guy's a local farmer and he owns agricultural property, and, he should have that right to farm it.
Yeah.
I think he's been buried in this community for years, and I think a lot of people know him and respect him, and would you rather have a local representative for this kind of an industry, or would you rather have an outside force?
Sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I think that's a huge point that Adam just made. I want to reiterate that too, because you really don't want somebody that's not community involved in a business.
Yeah.
As said,
The only other thing I'd add is it's interesting to look at the history of how those parcels got next to each other, because where the grow buildings are being built is an R5 zone, which is an agricultural and resort zone. The area next to it used to be R5, but a contractor came in and asked the township to change it to residential so he could build a big subdivision. So they approved that to allow the residential next to an agricultural zone. At that point in time now, you have the people or some of the people in the residential area saying you shouldn't be able to grow next to us because we're residential.
Right.
Except they're the ones
they
that
came
moved
into
in
an
to
agricultural
an
zone.
agricultural zone to say, oh gee,
There could
let's
be-
build a subdivision and make money on all of the houses
Yeah.
we're going to build there.
Yeah.
So it becomes one of, wait a minute, why would you be able to then come in and step up and say, farmer, you can't grow here?
There
Right.
could be a lot
Because
of
I've got a
farmers
house here.
displaced by
And
said activity.
Sure.
And
That, when you look at that just as a fairness issue, you need to let the township zoning stay where it is, and they did it properly. They should be able to grow in an agricultural zone.
Very good.
we appreciate the opportunity to get our word out there, and hope everybody turns out to the polls on Tuesday.
Get out and vote Tuesday, no matter where you stand on anything. I mean, from the state senate to the local vote, the local people, and all of it.
Yeah.
Very important to get out and vote. Do that Tuesday. And, with kind of a sigh of relief, I'm not on that ballot. To be honest with you.
And
All the
you-
links are here. Make sure you follow it, Egelston Grows Green. If you need a ride to the polls, find that Facebook page and they'll help you get out there. Jack, thank you so much.
Thanks,
Al,
Andy.
Adam, thank you.
Yep. Thank
Details
you.
are right here on the Muskegon channel.